Okay, well, welcome to the Dales, everyone. You will be going to another portion of the Dales. It's technically part of the Dales, but it's off in the southwest portion in the Thunder Peaks, and a little place called Hollardale. So there's no actual map of the place, but people know of it. It's actually basically if you look at where High Moon is at, sort of in the south, and you take the road through the mountain pass, it's in that general direction. As you are basically making your way from High Moon to the Thunder Peak Mountains. Pretty nice visage of these nice mountains. And somewhere in there, in that bunch of mountains, is Hollardale. Problem is you don't really know where it's at, and since there isn't really a map of it, you kind of have to hang out a bit to wait for your contact to come meet you. Now, what you're doing here is actually you have done work in the past for this client, and his name is Pap Thistlebug. And he is the patriarch of the Thistlebug clan. He's a halfling. He's a bit of an older man. He's he's basically everybody's grandfather in the area, and he is invited y'all to his son's wedding. So this is a big to do, and everybody in the area is invited. And he thought of no better way than to thank you for all the help you've given him in the past, than to inviting you to this wedding. So you are basically at the foothills, just waiting for the somebody to come get you. So as you're waiting, you guys can talk a bit amongst yourselves.
Should we? Is now the time? We should.
The time for what?
I wasn't talking amongst ourselves. I was actually asking if now we should say who.
Yes, I figured that this would be your chance. I kind of.
I thought he was in character already.
Sorry. Eli, you're too method.
Yeah.
All right. So Quillerin, or Quill, as he is known by friends, is a 3-foot-tall gnome who has kind of a grey sort of comb-over hair and a bristly but short beard, wearing kind of like a cross between a suit and robes that are sort of in a very faded orange. You get the feeling that they were once quite nice and fine clothes, but have faded over time. He is probably twice as heavy as he ought to be for his 3 foot. And he makes up for this by traveling on his Steel Defender companion, Eric, who is vaguely humanoid in form, with the metal face. He's entirely made of metals, and has the face of a cat. And he can go down on all fours, or he can go up on 2 legs, and he rides him around when he's on 2 legs. When he's on 4 legs, I should say. And and buzzing around beside him is a little metal damselfly that kind of sits on his shoulder, a Pip. So he's basically 3 people in one. That's Quill.
What is Quill kind of doing as you're hanging out, waiting?
He only rides on his companion when they're going from place to place, because he's 300 years old, so he's getting up there a little bit, and he doesn't really like to walk. He sort of walks at a pretty slow speed, but he'll have hopped off for now, and he will be just polishing polishing Eric's. No, he'll be polishing. Yeah, it is Eric. Eric is. I've got to work out which one's which. Eric is his steel defender. He's polishing Eric's legs right now with a cloth, busying himself.
Okay.
Likes to keep him nice and shiny. Although Eric does wear a cloak when they get into town, so as not to alarm the locals.
A metal cloaked figure.
He is metal, but his cloak kind of comes over his head, so it's kind of hard to see his features.
He appears to be more of like maybe an armored individual, like a knight.
Yeah, maybe not even that because
Oh.
I mean, imagine like a sort of almost like a monk type robe, so it's pretty full covering, so it's hard to necessarily make out his frame. So you wouldn't immediately know unless you kind of peered beneath the hood to see what he was made of, that he was not human.
Mm-hmm.
Does he make noise when he moves?
There is a bit of a creaking, yes, but it's not kind of like a.
He doesn't sound like a couple of battery-operated drills.
No. Because of his magical animation, he's not sort of fully sort of robotic per se, and there is some smoothness to his joints.
Okay.
So yeah, Quill is just busying himself. He's always busy, like either polishing or tinkering with Pip, his damselfly. Make sure he's still working. He's always doing something of that nature.
Okay.
What's his disposition?
Oh, cheery.
Okay.
Quill?
He's happy. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The others are somewhat inert and not super responsive, but Quill is cheery and always friendly, always curious, but not that's kind of his way. The others. He also tends to think of himself as a leader of the gang, even though nobody else thinks of him as a leader of the gang. So he will, on occasion, give out orders to people, which they completely ignore.
Amazing. So, what about you, Brian?
Brian is a 6 foot tall, 20-year-old, scrawny human. He has curly red hair and gray eyes. Very fair skin. He comes from the north, so he's used to cold weather. He is kind of as your typical bard in dress. So he, except for the fact that he doesn't come from like wealthy background or anything, so his clothing's a little bit more I wouldn't say like tattered, but maybe more just standard. Not very fancy, although he would like fancy things. He has his lute is very old, and he covets it. And he has a very curious, naive. He's kind of trying to get out and explore the world a little bit more. So he's just very young and naive, and but also very enthusiastic.
Does he do anything in particular while hanging about with the rest of the investigators?
Depending on what kind of setting it is, he would actually just tinker around on his lute.
Okay.
And if
Yeah,
if people got interested, he might start performing.
I see. This is basically like the foothills of the mountains, some trees around. Kind of in the situation, like if you look on the Roll20, kind of how the picture looks there, where it's kind of that view.
Well, he'd probably just be sitting there with a great anticipation, awaiting for whoever's supposed to arrive. Very alert and just watching what everybody's doing.
All right. So, Isabel.
No, so okay, so visually, for anyone who doesn't remember or is new, Isabel is a um high elf warlock. Um Blood red hair, absolutely deathly milky pale skin. Um Wears a decent amount of makeup, I would say. She's got the whole vampy blood red smoky eye thing going on. Plunging red gown. Looks like an absolute yeah, I would say like anime villain mode. Like just full on bombshell villain. Um and she would most likely be probably propped up against a wall and just boredly looking at her own fingernails.
Always the life of the party at Isabel.
Yeah, not really paying attention to anyone else. And yeah, definitely bored and absorbed in her own world.
Okay. So then we go over to Chaucer, who is probably the exact opposite.
We have Chaucier, the group's resident tabaxi. He is a 6'2", slender, lean-built tabaxi, much like I would say many of them. He is a mangy or a wild, kind of floofy fur sort, tabby cat coloring, kind of golds and browns. He's dressed with a fancy black coat with gold trimmings, kind of like some almost little fancy tassels on the shoulder, lots of little gold buttons. He uses his coat to kind of conceal a small short bow on his side. And he keeps gloves on to keep the fur on his hands down to be a little more dexterous. A couple of light pouches on his side. By character, he is a very flirtatious and curious character, and a bit just playful. And he is currently rummaging around the local flora and fauna, picking various flowers. And after he's like searching around, he'll dig around, he'll pick a flower, and he'll look back at the party, and he'll look at the flower, and he'll kind of continue about his way for a little while.
I guess if he's wandering around, Quill will try and get his attention. Say, Chaucer,
What is it, Pap Thistle?
come over here, my old friend.
He springs up and he does a cartwheel and into a little bit of a jog.
Take a look at Eric's new face. What do you think? I modeled it after you.
It is one could call it a lively sort, but not as much vigor as this one. And he kind of like floofs the side of his face, his own face.
Well, I mean, nothing can compare to your, yes, other. But yes, I thought a little change might be nice from the old one. It was a bit boring, and
Oh,
you've
most
got such
certainly.
a handsome face. So.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, looking at you next to each other, I may have a little bit more to do, but it'll do for now.
And he takes one of the flowers that he has. He found a thistle and he puts it up on top of the ear of what was his name again?
Eric.
Eric. That was a tough one. Why'd you have to pick something so normal?
It's spelled ERYCKHP. So there you go.
Perfect.
I'm not dealing
no,
with that.
no, it's just spelled ERIC.
Wow.
It really
Type
is
that in
normal.
chat. Well, while you guys are talking a bit, you actually haven't been there very long. There might be a bit of a concern that you're out in the middle of nowhere and you might be sitting here for a while. But you sort of hear off in the distance a little bit of a singing, and it's definitely coming from the way of the mountains. And you hear as time goes on a little bit, you hear a cart rustling around, and you can tell like if going that way that up and towards the mountains, there's a bit of a. It's a road. It's not like the best road in the world, but it could get you there if or at least you hope it'll get you there. So over the little hill comes a pony, and it's pulling behind a cart, and driving the cart is a brown-haired halfling. And as he sees everybody standing there, he waves and he smiles, and he pulls up next to everyone and goes, "Hey, y'all, how's it going?"
Who are you?
Good. Hang on. What time of day is it?
It's it's fairly early morning, I'd say. Maybe about 10 a.m. I guess it's not really early morning, but
Morning, good sir. We know him, right?
you actually don't know him.
Oh. Good morning, good sir.
Yes.
Whoever you are.
Yeah.
Are you who we were expecting to be seeing?
Well, I like to think so. My name's Cody. I was sent here by Pat to come get y'all, I think. He said it was going to be a bit of no offense intended, but a little bit of a weird group. So
Yes,
they are.
They are a bit of a weird lot, but don't worry about them.
Well,
They are quite weird.
So yeah, it might be an hour or two up yonder, but me and old Gus here will get you up there as quick as we can.
Brian's already climbing into the cart.
Oh, all right, we got a happy one here. Actually, my name's Cody, by the way. I'm Cody Thistlebuck.
Well met, Cody. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Yeah, same. So yeah, hop on and we'll get on the way.
Is it big enough for Eric to get in as well?
No.
Eric, you just follow along.
It's honestly probably going to be fairly, like there's room for all four of you, but it's not going to be like the most comfortable of rides. Because I mean, it's basically like it's a halfling cart, so it's sort of a smaller get up.
It's two humans.
Yeah, you have to stack up like cordwood.
Brian already climbed in.
He's just like looking forward, like, all right, let's go.
Chasseur runs up and kind of like extends his hand out to Isabel, and he's kind of got his one hand out, and he bows his head down. And he says, "Another spot for you, my lady."
Which is funny because if he wasn't going to offer, she was going to demand that he help her into the cart.
Oh,
Quill,
you should know so much
Quill-
better.
as you're doing that, Quill bustles by you and says, "Age before beauty, age before beauty."
Now, excuse me, good sir. And he starts pushing you. This spot is taken. It is for the beautiful deadly nightshade. You have your own wonderful
Brian
cat.
would offer his spot to Quill at this point, noticing all of this.
And Chelsea's like,
Quill mops
"But
his
that's
brow and takes
supposed
it.
to be my spot." It is okay. I get a better view from down here.
So, is it going to be the 3 on board?
How many can it fit? I figured there's just the 2.
No, I mean, to be fair, like you can all get on there, but it's just basically like it's gonna be tight. Like you're gonna kind of be leaning up against one another. Maybe somebody's gonna have to like hike up their knees, and it's like 4 people sitting in the backseat of a car type thing.
To be the gentleman or to be extra close to Isabel.
You see tiny little flames flicker in her eyeballs as she looks at you.
You never can tell if those are good or bad, but one day I will find out. But today I walk.
So Cody starts turning a bit, and he's like, "All right, Gus, let's get on out of here." So he starts turning. He was like, "Well, if you're gonna walk, maybe y'all can take. I don't know, whatever. You know, you'll figure it out, I'm sure." So he just starts singing to himself again. It's not the best singing in the world, but you can tell he enjoys it. So he's going about his way a bit, and you can tell that the road starts to actually incline pretty quickly. It's basically it's more of a path that's been used a lot over the years, to where it's a bit of a sunken road. It's been cleared out by locals. Not really well kept, but at the same time, it's more of a farm path. So one cart could go through it, and it leads to the direction that Cody seems to know where he's going. So there's trees all over the place, both sides, and you can tell that it's getting a bit rocky. A little bit, yeah. We're going to the forest up into the mountains.
Forest is Chauffer's favorite terrain.
Ah,
If it comes into being important, you should know.
well, good. Cody's it's always good to know.
Oh yes,
Brian would have pulled out his lute and would have been trying to play along to Cody's singing.
All right, he's very happy that you do that. He just starts singing a little bit louder. And as you go, you can you'll see every so often there are looks like logging camps. And you can tell that there's a lot of work being done in this area, where they're felling trees, being put up in stacks, and you don't see anybody at work today, and you can maybe assume that it has something to do with the wedding, since they invited you guys. It's going to be a big to do in the area. So I mean, it's overall it's a very uncomfortable yet uneventful ride. If there's anything y'all would like to do, you may do so, but otherwise it's going to be pretty uneventful.
I don't think so. Not on the ride.
Just
So now,
the typical stuff for Chelsea. He's just making sure everyone. He would be foraging while they're traveling. He would stop and kind of dig through the bushes, and then much like a lot of tabaxi, he would just come sprinting back. And anything that he would find, he would just kind of share with the party. And outside of just keeping a general eye on things,
okay. Well, after a bit, you come into a village. It's fairly well cleared out. Not any trees and within the village itself. There is a map on Roll20 that you can see the village. It's got some shingle. Some of the houses are shingled. A lot of them are kind of patched with hay, as well as roofs. And as you're coming into the town, there's basically you just see in halflings. You don't really see anybody else here that's not a halfling just walking around. And everybody is dressed up really really well. And the houses themselves, they are dug in to the ground. You can see that it's a very rocky terrain. So it kind of looks like that, you know, they're doing the best they can as halflings to kind of like dig in and build holes, but it's kind of hard. So there's a lot of buildings that are more out than in. But it's a little ramshackle, but you can tell that they take good care of things as best they can. And everybody here is just looking really really happy about what's I guess what's going to be going on later on. Yeah, as they see you coming in, they all shout to Cody and say hi, and they wave, and people start to gather around a bit as they notice you know, some strange folks coming in town. So they kind of all gather around and get a little close, and Cody has to slow down a bit as more and more halflings come out from their houses, and you know, they start to say hi to everybody. You hear, "Howdy, hey, how's it going?"
Quill is waving happily.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Azula
as-
looks completely blank-faced.
As you continue to go in through town, you're basically coming up from the southerly direction, and there is one house that looks a little bit nicer, and the one that you would notice where I said there was one that, you know, there's some that have more typical shingles. And Cody points ahead, and he was like, "That's where Pap and Mam live." So he pulls up to there, and he stops and he says, "Well, here we are."
Excellent. Thank you for the ride. Most enjoyable.
Yeah, no problem.
Brian comes up to him and shakes his hand, and that was great. Having someone to sing, play along to while they sing. You did fantastic.
Well, you too. You were pretty good. Maybe we'll have to do another duo later on. All right.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, I'll see y'all later. So he gets up and he just kind of, you know, saunters off. And he basically, he's just going to have a good time. And actually, somebody else runs over, and he's just like, "Cody," he's like, "You know, you gotta take care of Gus whenever you come back in." He's like, "I'll get to him when I get to him." So the other halfling, he just like takes care of him, and he's just like, "Oh, that Cody's such a dumb boy." So he just kind of like, you know, takes the horse back off into, you know, I'm not sure of the horse terminology, but he you know, to take care of him and get him unhooked and set away. So he goes that, and as you hear those two arguing out from the house in front of you, it comes an old halfling. He's got a bit of it would basically be a neck beard, a white neck beard, and with white. He's bald, but he's got white hair on the around his ears, and he's got a cane, and he comes out, and you guys know this guy. This is Pap, and he had hired you out previously for a job, and he goes, "Ah, there y'all is! Welcome.
Good afternoon, Pat.
Glad to see y'all. Everything right? Okay, Cody, take care of you."
It was great.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Lovely fellow.
Good. He's yeah, good. Ma'am, come on out here. They're here. Come on. So then she's like, all right, here from inside the house, and out comes and you know her. This is Ma'am. This is his wife and the matriarch of the Thistlebugs. And she comes out and she says, "Oh hell, hi y'all." And so they're basically just like, you know, giving you the great greetings and coming out to just say hi. Is again, every like people who hadn't seen you are now kind of crowding around, and now it's getting a little bit more uncomfortable probably because you don't have the cart to help. So there's a lot of gawking and closing in on you.
On as we got close, Quill would have thrown the robe over Eric so as not to alarm people. So and Eric will just be kind of standing as in the background as possible, keeping quiet.
I mean, the locals are very they're going to be very nosy, so they're going to kind of just like be looking at Eric a little bit, and honestly, kind of like whenever if he's not really interacting with them, they're noticing maybe there's a little bit of weirdness about it, and they're going to kind of like move his cloak around a little bit and look at him and just kind of, oh, you ain't seen nothing like that before. No, I haven't either.
He's very foreign. Don't mind him. Can't speak, unfortunately.
So the Hap comes over and kind of like he starts trying to shoo everybody away, and he's like, "Yeah, you gotta forgive them. They a lot of them don't really get out of here very much, so they don't get to see anybody but halflings. So, but y'all made it just in time, because we're getting ready. Everybody's getting ready to go on over to the chapel, and we're gonna start the festivities. Y'all wanna come?
Of course.
That sounds great.
It's what we are here for, no?
Yeah, indeed. So he's like, "Well, follow me. It ain't too far. I can't really move like I used to. So but I might slow y'all down. But just enjoy the beauty. What do y'all think? What do y'all think of what do you think of it of the ride?
Most satisfactory.
It's a beautiful ride through the forest. What is there not to enjoy? The sweet voice of Pap. No, it's Cody. Pardon me. The wonderful music of Brian. The imagery of. And he points to Isabel. And of course, Quid.
Such kind words.
Indeed.
He winks.
Now, is there
So,
chairs in here? I've got quite an ache-on.
As you see over in the distance, there are definitely chairs. It's a bit of a like it's a little bit like the village, but a little but it's actually outside. You see a chapel that's sort of built into the side of the mountain as well. But there are just too many. Basically, what you can tell, there's just too many people to actually fit inside, so they're going to be doing the festivities outside. There are chairs, there are stools, there are hay bales, there are rocks. It looks like that they have moved anything and everything over for people to sit on so they could see what's going on. It looks like that they've set up sort of I guess, an arch, a flowered arch around the entranceway of the chapel. So, and there's stairs that lead up to it, so it's a little bit elevated. So everybody is going to be able to see what's going on whenever the wedding actually happens.
So,
but yep.
Real quick question: all the construction. This is a predominantly or all halfling-sized village, right?
Yes.
Okay, so would like furniture, doorways, stairs, would everything be built kind of to scale?
Yes, it would. So like, I mean, since like besides you guys, you haven't seen another like non-halfling. So yeah, they are just halflings everywhere. You know, the hay bales are probably the most suitable seating for most of you outside of Quill. Quill could basically, yeah, yeah, Quill could sit anywhere and be fine probably.
Yeah,
And,
Quill is gonna waddle over to a hail bale with a decent view and just plunk himself down and light a pipe.
Is there any like food and beverages out?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's appetizers out. It's kind of on the side. Nothing that'll spoil because it's pretty warm. It's actually a nice day, but like it's not. They didn't want to put anything out that would spoil. So you got like some crackers and some cheeses and stuff like that. So as you guys are gathering around, there's you can see some people, like more and more people are starting to sit down, and towards the front, Hap actually asks you to sit in the second row behind where he would sit, and there, people are starting to gather in, and across the way there is another elderly couple. And suddenly, Pap's smile changes. You notice he gets pretty sour whenever he looks at the other couple, and he goes, "Well," he's like, "Here's Jethro and Ellie. They're hill ditches." And like they just kind of look back at him, and they go, "Well, Pap." He's like, "Yeah, they're the other side of the, well, that's my boy's marrying their girl, so yeah."
Oh, congratulations. Maybe.
Yeah, thank you, Pap says, and the other two just kind of turn away, and they don't look happy at all. And actually, now that you're sitting down, you can basically you get the feeling that one side is super kind of happy about things, and the other side there's a lot more sour expressions.
So he's not happy with them.
So Pap was, I mean, whenever he saw the other ones, the hill ditches was was Jethro and Ellie hill ditch. He definitely, like, his kind and genteel demeanor went away, and they matched him. They weren't happy to see him either.
I don't think I don't think Quill would have noticed that.
I don't think Brian would either. He can be a little bit. He's kind of like half paying attention and half just kind of like looking around at how they've decorated and what the venue's like. And
On the opposite spectrum, Isabel would have been completely uninterested in any of the decorations, and is much more interested in the people. So she's a little more perceptive. She's got some stuff that gives her perception stuff. So she might have picked up more on maybe some of that.
Up here as well. Even though he's flighty, he's rather perceptive.
See. Okay, so you would notice, Chaucer and Isabel, that the what you assume to be the Thistlebug side is actually filled in quite a bit. The Hill Ditch side is I mean, there's people that are standing around on the outside, but not a lot of people are really sitting. And can I get from Chaucer and Isabel? Can I get perception checks from you, please?
Sure.
Yes. That is a 25.
Boo, an 11.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess Isabel is caught up in something in particular, but Chaucer with your keen hearing, just over here, it's just like, yeah, it just ain't right. I mean, they always get to do what they want to do. I just it's just somebody's got to do something about it. I mean, if somebody doesn't stand up to them, like, well, yeah, but if what are we gonna do today? I mean, of all days, now we're gonna say something. Just, well, I mean, they usually ask if somebody's got something to say, then you say it, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe you're braver than me, so I don't know. Just to figure it out in the middle, all right? Yeah, I guess. Okay. So it's just general grumblings that you hear over, over in the distance from a couple of people who are standing a little bit of ways from the on the hill ditch side.
Was there a general direction from this? Was this from the Thistlebug side, or was this from the
It was
Hilditch's
more
side?
moves from more the hill ditch side.
Okay, so they are not happy.
You can kind of get the sense that at least some of them aren't happy. I mean, there's there's more sour looks and just general grumbling, and you overhear them saying a little bit of like, well, somebody's got to stand up and do something. So yeah, you get that general feeling. There's a bit of a general talking for a few minutes. It's probably maybe a good 10-15 minutes where you guys are just sitting there, and there's more trickling in, more, and you hear some just more chatter, and as people are coming in, then eventually Pap turns around and he says, well, before the ceremony actually kicks off, we have a tradition. You might think it's a bit strange, but just take a gander, and I think you'll have a good time. And he kind of just turns back around, and you don't know like where this is coming from, because there's nothing that really indicates this, but then out of nowhere you hear it's almost like a wolf howl is what you're hearing. And then the what you assume to be the bride walks out of the chapel. She is dressed in a nice dress, and she's got a flower, like a flower crown on. She has well, none of them have any shoes on there. And she comes out, and she gives a smile, and so she comes down, and as she's walking out, she bows to the hill ditch side, and then she bows to the thistlebug side, and she sits down on the steps of the chapel. And as she does, then around the corner, there are 5 people who run out, and they are. Then you hear another howl that emanates from all of them. They come running around the corner, and they have these. Their cloaks, and they have these hoods, but it's if you were imagining like wolf pelts, but instead of it being wolf pelts, it's purple fur. Long purple shaggy fur, so it just basically drapes down, and they have the head of whatever this creature was mounted on top of their heads as well, and they run around her in circles, and as they keep hooting and hollering and shouting and howling like wolves, and then they grab her, and they run off around the other side of the chapel, and people are like hooping and hollering as they're doing this. The Ditches actually start to sit down to see, because like the ceremony is beginning, and so then people start to clap and cheer as this is going on, and Pap turns around and he has a big smile and he says, "Here we go." Can I get everybody to give me another perception check, please?
Oh, natural 20 for a 19.
Yeah, there you go.
17 this time.
18 for Chasia.
11.
All right, Brian's still like looking at all the surrounding, and he's just overwhelmed with all the new sights. But like the rest of you realize that like, the bride, she doesn't look very happy, and like as she is being, as she was being like they were running around her, she's kind of like squinting and kind of like doubling over on herself a little bit. As she's like, she just does it like they're kind of freaking her out, and then they grab her and they like pull her away, and it's sort of, she goes with them, but you can tell she's not super happy about it.
Is this normal? Is this part of the tradition?
These feel a bit uncomfortable.
Brian would have been
no,
slowly
this-
making his way to Eric and slightly hiding behind him.
Isabel,
Brian is which way.
for the first time, an expression breaks over Isabel's face, and you can see the corners of her lips turn up, and she just kind of gently claps and says, "This is fascinating."
She looked distressed. Was she distressed? Is this part of the act? I'm so confused. What was our contact's name? Pap?
Yeah. Pap
What is going
Bug.
on? Is this normal? Is this part of the entertainment? Should we be concerned? Is the food nearly ready? There's a lot to think about. Oh, he's gone, hasn't he? I bet he's left. Classic.
Yes, never. Wake up, Pap! There's a wedding. There's no
He's
time
either
to be
asleep
sleeping.
or he's deaf in one ear, or we keep talking in the wrong ear.
Or he's died and none of us has noticed.
Also an option.
Perception
With
check.
my perception, I definitely wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
Quick, Brian, play some music. Weekend at Bernie's. Here we go.
I wonder if his internet's continuing to be troublesome.
Pap just got up and walked away.
Yep. We were too much for him.
Yeah.
We were just talking to you. Why would you just disband the party?
Why did I hire these people?
We're here for
You
the
hear
free
me?
food and drinks today. Yes.
Yep, bad things. So I heard you guys asking if this was normal.
We then went into full combat mode and killed all the wedding party guests.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
that's-
five
that's-
wolf howlers. They are no longer a problem.
Sounds about right.
I would say, side note, they were asking if it was normal. Isabel thinks it's wonderful.
Okay. This sounds very apropos. So, it's amazing. Yeah. So Pat turns around to you and he goes, "Yeah, this is tradition. This is the purple dog chase."
Of course, the purple dog chase.
How could I have forgotten?
It's lovely.
It is, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Yeah. So what this is so it's the purple dogs. You know, they live around here and they've been problematic, if you could say. And so now it's just a bit of a play that we put on beforehand, and the groom now gets to hunt for the bride, and he gets to show that he is capable and worthy of having her hand.
How long does that traditionally take? Because the food shouldn't sit out too long.
Oh, they got that covered. You ain't got to worry about that. It doesn't take too long. It doesn't take too long. It doesn't take too long. So,
The groom,
and-
is he a purple dog as well?
no. He's the hero.
And he is there to save her from the purple dogs?
Yep, indeed.
And where
Brian
is he?
would
And he
have-
starts looking around.
Brian would have been casually moving slowly back into in front, like out from behind Eric, and for trying to pretend like he wasn't just hiding.
In fear.
Yeah,
Okay, it freaked him out.
yeah.
Awesome. So yeah. You guys are talking about that, and Pap says, it's not too much longer, and then so as he says that, then from around the corner from where the halflings who are dressed up like these purple dogs comes out another party, and they're cheering and like doing war cries, and one of them is dressed up very, very well, and Pap turns around again. He says that's my boy Junior. And so Junior runs around to the stairs of the chapel, and carrying a spear with his other fellows who are also carrying spears, and they're screaming.
Quill excitedly shouts at him, "They went that way!" and points in the direction that they ran.
Junior looks over. And he looks a little confused at first. He's like, "Who? What?"
Hurry! They went that way!
Then he looks over at Pap, his dad, and he goes, "Pa?" He like, "Get on with it, boy. You got to go get your girl." He's like, "Oh yeah. All right, boys, let's go." And they start whoop 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 whoop, whoop, and then just run around the corner.
I love that with the distortion that sounded
Yeah,
like
that
Mario
was
sounds.
very
Did.
strange.
Crowd sort of like,
Like they all just went down the Mario drain.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
It's a pity that won't come across in
I
the
know.
the,
I know.
final edit.
Put your
That was
editing
the
skills
best
to the
thing.
test. Put the actual pipe sound effect in there.
then
Yeah.
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Now the purple dogs, are they? What do you? Yeah, because that's what they were. They were, right.
I guess the purple dogs are the kidnappers in this
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
scenario.
They are the Hillditch's side of the
Although I'm
family.
thinking maybe purple dogs is a good name for our group, so we'll just steal that.
The purple dogs.
I guess while you guys had gotten the fact that everybody was just kind of waiting around, but then I asked for another set of perception checks from everybody.
That's more like it.
17 again.
Oops. They actually do it
6.
twice.
Yeah. It didn't really
oops.
help a lot.
16 shots. Yeah.
Oh, 3.
Okay. So Isabel and Chaucer, you notice that people are starting to look a little uncomfortable. There's, this has been perhaps maybe a bit of a weirdness in general, because there's a lot of weird undertones going on, but now people are starting to murmur again, and there's a general air of something's not quite right. So Pap looks around, and he goes, Dermot, boy." And he there's somebody sitting a couple rows back. And it's another halfling that looked similar to Cody. And he goes, "Dermot, go on around back, see what's going on." So he goes back there and for a couple minutes, and he runs back around. She's gone.
Oh, she's good at this game. This could take longer than we expected.
Isn't that what's supposed to happen?
Interim
This is-
snacks,
Pap goes-
everybody.
She's playing hard to get.
Pap goes, no. What do you mean? What do you mean she's gone? She's like, Junior and the boys, they've been knocked out.
She is a
She's
fighter
gone.
as well.
I don't. He said, no, this ain't supposed to happen though. That's the thing. It's he's supposed to like it's just a play. They just go around there and they just take them away. Where the boys dressed up as the purple dogs? I didn't see them. Pap goes, all right, everybody, fan out and find out what. See if you can find Ginny and see where them purple dog boys went. Get the shine. Wake up, Junior and the boys.
This has really got into an intense
So-
production. Everybody's involved in the deception now. It's wonderful.
Yeah, there is people are really kind of like they're starting to get up in arms and people are running around and there's a bunch of people that are going around the back and he's like, Pap goes, come on y'all, come with me, and he kind of like hobbles as quickly as he can around the back of the chapel.
Bravo, Pap. Bravo. I can't
Do you,
wait to
do
see
you
what
guys-
happens next.
Do you guys follow along?
If he's beckoning us, I would kind of like look to the group to see if anybody's gonna start following him and just like slowly start kind of walking with him.
I would assume so because he's the one that brought us here, right?
Yeah, you came on his invitation.
Yeah.
We know him,
Yeah.
and yeah, I would definitely start probably a follow and looking around as just in this. Is there any high points in this village? Like, is the chapel kind of like the highest structure?
Yeah, that basically, yeah, it would. And there's like it's kind of built in a bit of a gully. So like if you were to go up higher and maybe climb a tree or something like that, but yeah, the tip of the chapel would be the highest point.
Okay. And jogging up, just I would be kind of like. So what you are saying, Pap, that this is not part of the festivities at this point.
No. I mean, look, it's the same like every single time. There's no difference. You know, they come out, they take the girl away, and then the boy comes around and he just makes a show of it, and he just goes around and grabs her and brings her back around, and it just shows that he's a good one and he's going to take care of her and all that sort of thing. It's just a tradition. It's just a little play. Nobody goes missing and just whatever.
So this is a mystery, you are saying.
It is, well, yes, but it's these hill ditches. I know they got something to do with it because they didn't want anything to do with this. I'm gonna get them. I am going to get them. And he goes. You guys go around the corner, and it's sort of like in the nook of the chapel, since it is built in the sort of in the mountainside, and you can see that Junior and his bunch were like they're on the ground, and people are trying to help them out. They're kind of waking them up, rousing them, giving them a drink, and Pap runs over. He's like, "What happened?" I don't know, Pa. It's just sort of just got hit in the head, and then I don't know what happened. Where's the boys that dressed up as the purple dogs? They weren't here. I don't know. I mean, I don't know where they went. So Pap just yells out, "All right, everybody, we gotta go searching for Ginny and them purple dog boys." And he looks over at y'all and he's like, "Look, I know I've just invited y'all as a guest, but like I really need y'all to help out right now because I'm flustered. I will, I this ain't supposed to happen this way. Can y'all help me out?"
Sure.
Good, 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 good. Um, we can discuss
guys?
payment afterwards.
Of course.
Sure. Right, guys?
That would be.
Quill is not there.
Where's Quill? Where did Quill go?
He is still around the front of the chapel.
Oh.
Well,
He,
we could just drag him along anyway, right?
Wait, Quill?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's pretty easy to drag along. He's kind of heavy, but he's
How far are we away from the chapel?
Not very far. I mean, it's maybe like 20, 30 feet.
So, noticing that Quill is not around, Isabel will just sigh, point her finger back in the general direction, and cast message. Quill, dear, what are you doing?
You hear the sound of chewing. I assumed it was the interval. Lovely spread.
She just turns back to the other two. It's fine. He'll be on board.
So, Pat, is urging you to go look, and see if you can find the missing bride, and if you can figure out, because the guys who dressed up as the purple dogs, and he was like, I don't know, I know them boys who dressed up as the purple dogs. It doesn't seem like the type that they would be in this. I don't know what's going on. It just, none of this I mean, I know it's them hill ditches. I know it's them hill ditches, but they ain't got the spine for this.
the hill ditches didn't have as many people as the thistlebugs. Was that the crowd setup?
Yeah, they didn't have quite as many people, and I mean, it was still a decent amount of people, but it wasn't the same amount and as what the thistlebugs had.
Okay, and everybody's kind of out looking around now, right?
Yeah, everybody's kind of looking around.
And we're in the are we at the Thunder Peak Mountains, or we're just like on the way, like in a little hamlet or something near it?
You are in the Thunder Peak Mountains, and this is called Hollardale. This is the village name. Yeah.
I'd quickly ask Pap. Pap, is there some sort of I don't know, creature out here that would do such a thing?
Say a creek.
What, you said a creek?
Yeah, there's a creek nearby.
No, a creature.
Oh, a creature. What kind of creature are you talking about? I mean, there's all sorts of varmints up in these hills.
Specifically ones that would come into a town and capture a bride.
I mean, like I said, well, like there's these purple dogs. Like, I mean, they can be pretty ornery. They don't tend to like do that sort of thing like during the daytime. But I mean, I wouldn't think they would do that unless they had some sort of rabies or something.
Pat, just a curious question, but could perhaps young women's hearts being fickle and all, could the bride maybe not have wanted this marriage to take place?
I mean, I'm sure the parents of hers soured her opinion, but she's just a girl, so it's not like it don't matter none. She's gonna do what she's gotta do.
A union of duty or a union of love?
I mean, to be honest with you, duty, because this was all right. I'll be honest with you. This was meant to end a feud between us and them hill ditches. Kind of combining the two families into one, so we wouldn't we'd get along hopefully, right?
Oh, Pap, but their heart wants what their heart wants. You cannot make
Yeah.
someone fall in love.
Well, yeah, maybe so, but there's been a lot of trouble, and my heart wants to end this, so that's what that matters, right? All right, so yeah.
It's got awful quiet around the front. I came round back because it was getting a bit lonely.
There you are, Quill.
What's going on? When is part 2 taking place?
Part 2 of what?
We are in the second act. This is our part of the show.
Oh, it's interactive. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, it has
need-
sort of become.
Pap yells out. He goes, "Jordan, Taylor, Brittany, Rumor, Scout, go up in the woods up there and go look." And he kind of turned around. He's like really starting to. He's really sweating, and he looks very flustered.
Is part of this that we are to also be a part of the hunt?
Look, y'all have the skills because I've seen it before. You done helped me, so like, find the girl.
Ah, wonderful. And he pulls out a looking glass from his pack and begins to scan the horizon.
I will say, give me an investigation.
Theater game. Oh. A great feast. Investigation. And you see Pip, the damselfly is buzzing around a couple of feet behind him, just trying to stay in the air with a little cupcake suspended between its legs. It's a 19 for investigation.
Okay, I was gonna say if Pip was helping you, but it doesn't sound like Pip was actually trying to help.
I mean, Pip is helping me, but not with this.
Okay, just looting. You're looting. Yeah. As you look around, there's a lot of people who have fanned out. They're looking around and they're calling out Jenny, and they're calling out different other names too. They're Candle, Hunter, Max. So they're just calling out, and so must be some of the names of the other guys who were dressed up and running around. But you kind of notice it's kind of off to the left, hidden towards what would probably end up being sort of northward. There's something up there catches your attention, like some of the stuff had maybe been rustled around a bit.
Like the vegetation.
Yeah, it looks like there's like something had moved through there, like some of the like bushes had been bent up a bit.
Curious. All right, everybody, this way. And Quill starts to march very slowly in that direction.
Brian follows.
What? Quill, are you onto something?
Now there's... Look at the trajectory of the bushes up there. You notice how there is a 33-degree angle on that one? That is very unnatural. I would expect 45 at the most. Something has been rustled up there.
Oh, you have such a keen eye. And Chaucer runs and scoops Quill up and heads towards the bushes. What?
I mean, he's not really
We have no
complaining.
time
He's
to
just
wait
surprised.
for you.
Eric, come on!
Just
Eric
treat
kind
me
of
as your
like-
Eric.
Begins to bound along behind, on all fours. And Quill is kind of riding in your arms and just pointing ahead and that way.
Chaucer leans into it.
Sorry,
we
it
get
looks
up to the-
different. It looks different through the looking glass. Actually, it's that way. And points 20 yards over to the right.
I thought you were good with angles.
Well, you know,
30,
the
at least
old,
45.
It's the optical illusion.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, you see this? There's this drow has definitely been tousled. In the most unnatural fashion. It could be a clue towards the next part of this game.
As you get up there, because it's a little bit steep, so Pap isn't going to follow you up there. He's kind of like looking down below. And as you kind of go around the corner, you see all the fellas who were dressed up as the purple dogs, and they're actually like they're out too. But like there's lots of like,
Wait, they're all knocked out up here?
yeah, they're knocked out, but like it looked, yeah. So can you? Well, you've already Quill had given me investigation, and I'll just keep with that. Well, you look around and you see that there's a lot of like paraphernalia around that indicates that these guys were actually they had been drinking too. But there's like shattered glass and like clay jugs and stuff up here. So it looks like while they were drinking, so they had kind of had their fun, and then they were coming up here, but then like whether they are just drunk or whether they were knocked out or whatever, they're out.
Quill will sheath his eyeglass and from another pouch on the other side pulls the magnifying glass. And now the detail work. Put me down, sir.
He places him down and follows over his shoulder.
Should I say chauffeur?
No, it is chasseur.
Okay. So,
There's no S in my name.
and he just begins wandering around and sort of peering at far too much detail at the broken bottles and such. Completely ignoring the unconscious people.
They're broken. It looks like
as I suspected.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see that it's not all of the what you know as you get closer. It was alcohol of a strong variety.
This was alcohol.
And it was not all consumed. You know, like there are definitely like wet patches on the ground. So like whenever these things broke, it spilled out.
Careful, everybody. It's slippery up here.
Chasseur is going to quickly check the individuals just for signs of trauma and life.
Yeah.
Brian would be doing the same to helping.
So as Chaucer, you go down to the first one and you start like checking on him and stuff like that, and actually wakes up and you're like, oh, what? Oh,
you are alive.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I mean, my head hurts real bad.
Let me take a look at that.
Tell us what happened.
He kind of looks around and he's just like, oh, dang, man. I mean, I don't really know. We were just sitting here and then all of a sudden we got jumped.
Pick up
By
one
who?
of
And what?
I don't know. We were just sitting here. We ran around here and we was done with what we had to do and we ran up here so we could just we were gonna get the party started early and yeah, I mean it just something jumped us, something hit us, and oh man, look at our shine. Oh man.
It is a tragedy. No.
Yeah, I mean, he picks up one jug and he sloshes it around. And he's like, "Well, it got a little bit," and he starts chugging it. And he finishes it off, and he's just like, yeah. So we had handed Jenny over to Junior, and we ran up here, and that's all I know. I mean, we did what we had. Yeah, I don't know why somebody jumped us for. We're just doing our part. I'm gonna get.
You were jumped after you handed Jenny off.
Yeah, I mean, did they? I mean, shoot, how much of the ceremony did we miss?
Quite a bit. Ginny is missing.
What?
Who did you hand
Boys,
her off to?
what? Would she wonder? I don't know. We gave him over to Junior.
I do believe that Junior never may have possibly made it up here.
I don't know what happened. Because we was done with what we needed to do, and honestly, we was just gonna have our own little party up here. And she's gone. Where did she go?
That is a good question.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, I don't know if I haven't seen him in a few days, but like Jenny, she had a sweetheart, and I mean, she never really was into that Junior. But I don't know.
Hold up. She had a sweetheart, or she had a sweetheart?
What?
Well,
She had a lover, Quill.
she had another that she had the fondness for.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew it.
Just as I predicted back there.
I mean, I didn't know it. This
He's
is a
"But
very
wait a minute,
dramatic
Quill,
turn in the.
There were some things that you did not know?
Well, I mean, I suspected, obviously.
I was,
it's quite obvious when you look at it.
about to ask. Something seemed quite off.
Of course, a sweetheart, and 2 to 1 that sweetheart is involved in this whole scenario.
I will take that bet. 3-1.
Oh, I seem to have lost my money perch at the moment. Oh well.
The Pap yells up. He's like, "What's going on up there?"
We're making wagers. We'll be
What?
down
You
presently.
No, look, y'all. You gotta help me out here. Go on up in them hills. I know somebody's done taking that girl.
Quill yells out, "Did you know about her secret sweetheart?"
That Gomer boy, he ain't nothing. I ain't worried about him. He wouldn't mess with us.
Where does he live? Out of pure coincidence.
I mean, he lives here in the village too.
Would he have been invited to the wedding?
I mean, everybody. Well, who are you asking this to? In general or to me? That's DM.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
To Pap.
Bad. Oh,
Right.
he was like,
Pap's the one that's down at the bottom.
yeah. Sorry about that. I lost my train of thought there for a bit. He goes. He's like, everybody was invited.
But was he there?
Actually, I don't think I saw him.
Isabel, I feel like you're a master in these areas. Where would they? I mean, do you think they ran away together?
I mean, would seem possible. But then again, I mean, is this really something, if that's the case, that we should be involved in? It seems like more of a personal matter.
That's true. Although I suppose at this stage, the jury is still out on or whether that is the actual scenario. I suppose.
There's a concerning amount of violence surrounding this.
I mean, is knocking out people really violence?
Especially drunk people. That's almost just sort of letting them do their own thing.
No one's dead.
That we are aware.
True, but everyone is accounted for so far that we've run across, and no one's dead. So, would lead me to believe that no one is really out to kill anyone in this situation, and maybe they just want to get away.
It is a possibility. I could
Back to the
try
buffet.
something.
Oh, sorry.
One moment, Quill.
Okay.
Brian, play me some music.
He pulls out his lute.
And Chassier extends his hand to Isabel. Isabel, would you dance with me for just a moment?
No.
Don't worry, Pap. We're just going to dance first before we do anything else.
He starts playing Edelweiss.
What about you, Quill? Would you dance with me?
Most definitely.
And he extends his hands out down low to Quill. And he is going to what's it called? He's going to dance cast Primeval Awareness.
Oh, your touch is like magic.
Oh, a true investigator you are. And
So you're
I
doing
want
primeval awareness?
yeah, I want to just kind of rule out any of these oddities, if possible. See if there is an aberration, celestial dragon, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within at least a mile. Unless we're in forest, then up to 6 miles.
I mean, honestly, like it is mountain terrain, but it's also forested terrain. So I would
3
say,
miles.
yeah. So I would give you the full 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely. You don't. Let's see. No dragons. No celestials. No aberrations. Maybe getting a slight fiendish fiend off of Isabel. No undead. Some elementals way, like, kind of like you get a faint elemental feel. But you're getting a pretty strong fey feeling.
Okay. And as he's dancing with Quill, he's just been like, aberrations, no. Dragons, no. Elementals? Some. Hey. Fiend, my sweet. And he looks over to Isabel.
She visibly shudders.
Oh. And he says, but there is a particular note. The Fae is involved.
I knew it.
Of course.
I was about to say the very same.
Or they may be involved. But there is a presence here.
Well, that does up the notch of weirdness, doesn't it?
Oh, it is quite suspicious. One could say.
What to do next? You purple dog fellows.
Yeah.
Is there... Not to put too fine a point on it, when I was a young gnome, back in my courting days, we would occasionally go up to a certain spot and look out and... You know, we would woo our loves in that spot. Is there such a spot close by to here? A spot with a lovely view where one might take a young lady. The scenery and the peaceful atmosphere.
I mean, we got a few of them spots, but no, I mean there isn't one in particular.
Okay. Well, let's shot that idea down. It was early days. Oh, I'm out of ideas.
Well, one guy he perks up the one guy you've been talking to, and he goes, did I hear you say something about Faye?
There is a presence.
Yeah, there's talk of something like that being up in these hills.
Would you like to be more specific?
Oh, I reckon I could be. Uh, well, so like, uh, there's a her name's Mother Leathercoat. Um, she's like some old witch or something that lives up in the hills. And I mean, I'm reckoning because basically off of what you said that I mean that could be her, but we always just thought she was a story of people would just you tell youngins at night to just scare them a little bit and make them go sleep and hush up.
How fascinating. Fey creatures. Close by.
Yes, let me tell you, young man, stories are never just stories. There's always a grain of truth behind them. And we are the people that find that grain of truth.
You hear that one guy wakes up and he goes, "Oh, dang, my back! Oh!" He kind of rolls over and he is like, you were looking around a little bit, but like this guy his back got like wrecked pretty good.
Shasir, he rolls over, he's like, my back, and Shasir runs up and he's like, lifts his shirt up like aggressively, like, what is it? And he's going to investigate his back to see,
Okay.
look for like, what does it look like? Claw marks, bruising.
Just give me investigation just to be fun. There's a lot of investigation perception rolls so far, but I guess it works for an investigation group.
Oh man. Quiver, would you like to help? My investigation is nothing. That is a 12.
I mean, what are we looking for here?
Some sort of evidence as to
So-
what type of injury.
I'll see. You can roll as well, Quill. But
He dexterously twirls the magnifying glass in his fingers and peers behind you. Inspects this back at a very close range.
Chaucer, you see he's clawed. He's clawed up pretty good, but like outside of that, you don't get a lot out of it. But yeah, he's like it looks like it was kind of clawed.
19 for Quill.
Okay, so Quill, what you see is that he was clawed, and looks like there's a little bit of festering going on to it already. Looks like there's like some of the cloth or some of the hide from the costume of the purple dogs, which is like it's actual like hide from what it's not just a made up costume, but like actual hide. It looks like it's gone into some of the wounds, so it doesn't look good. And it's pretty substantial and fairly deep.
Quill kind of reports all of this as he's looking at it. He's like, well, this appears to be festering. This is a nasty one. He'd be lucky to make it out alive.
What?
There's fresh blood.
Yeah,
Yes, come take a look. Come take a look. You'll like this.
Yeah, Isabel immediately kneels down and pushes
He holds a
aside
magnifying glass in front of it to aid.
She pushes aside the slit in her dress, and there's a little pouch strapped to her leg. She pulls out a vial and just unabashedly collects some of the blood.
This halfling is like starting to cry. He's like, "Oh, save me!"
Let's get look here. Get this bit here. This looks like it's festering. Get a bit of that. That looks good.
Oh no!
Oh, yes, that is good festering.
I
Yes.
was just gonna get drunk and now I'm gonna die.
Quiet, son. Quiet, son. This is science.
Yeah, she just pops the little vials back in her little pouch, and yeah, that's it.
He just pats him on the back and puts his shirt back there. And well, this is very interesting. Now, where was this? What was her name? This creature?
Madam Leatherback. Was it Leathercoat?
Madam Leather.
His coat.
The original fella who you were talking to looks completely aghast as the way you were treating Buddy, and a couple of other folks like just pick him up as he's just weeping, and they just take him off into the village, and he's just like, "Save me!"
Well,
As they walk,
before they
away.
go,
Oh, you go, Brian.
before they would go, Brian would have just come up to him and touched him on the shoulder and just said, "It'll be okay," and he'd cast a what do I want to do? Healing word, or I think I'll do cure wounds.
If it's touch, you may as well do the kill wounds.
Yeah. Oh, does that do it?
Oh,
Did that
Brian,
make
you're all
something pop
softy.
up?
He'd be fine.
Brian
okay.
is literally the only good one among us.
The best boy. He's our golden retriever.
Yeah, I was
How
gonna
do
say
you
he's
make
our
it-
golden retriever.
Yeah.
Good-
Oh yeah.
The goodest boy. That's okay. He rolled a 7, so he'll take it.
He
Okay.
takes full health damage. Full healing damage.
As he stood there, Quill will rustle out a silver piece before they turn and twiddle it in his fingers, and he will say, "A silver piece to whoever can point us in the direction of Madam Leatherback."
Who's Leatherback? Okay, so yeah, he hit 9. Honest, as some guys, they've just like, he's unceremoniously been picked up. Like one person has him by, an arm and a leg, and he's just kind of like dipped in the middle. And so as they're like dragging him away, and you're like, hold on, and then like you touch him, and like he immediately like, I mean, he feels a lot better, but he kind of passes out. But he's got a bit of a smile on his face. So you can tell you have done well.
Yay.
You think he'll be okay.
Okay, good.
So Quill, you were inquiring of one a leatherback.
If that's what they said, then yes.
That was my bad. Leather coat.
No, that's okay. I think it's hilarious whenever you hear something and then you just immediately start getting the name wrong. So it's just great. So yeah, they're like, well, I don't know, that old witch, she lives up in the hills. Nobody really knows where she lives.
That's not good enough for the silver piece. I need a little more information.
I mean, I'll take a silver piece, but I ain't got no more information for you, mister.
Meh.
Can I have the silver piece?
Unsatisfactory. He pockets it and tosses him a copper piece instead.
Ooh, he bites it. So he gets up and he just kind of scurries off, and then Pap goes, "What's going on up there?"
Pap, we're looking for Mrs. Leather Jacket or something. Where is she? No, the old myth.
Mother
Old
Leathercoat?
creature.
Sure.
I mean, she's she
Imagine she existed. Where would she be?
kind of like he kind of just like looks down and he's like, yeah, she lives deep in the holler if the rumors are true.
That's what we're going to find out. Hey, everybody. Is this a wild goose chase? We're just assuming that a creature is involved.
Be described as a wild coat chase, but however,
I suppose the curious nature of the wound on the young lad does suggest some otherworldly entity. I'm not sure that Jenny, or the young lady of the wedding, I'm not sure if she could have produced such a wound.
Yes. Hitting them over the head seems more innocent. The claw marks did seem maybe a little more sinister.
Mr. Faerun.
But I still maintain that if we find the two and they're just trying to run away, we just leave them alone.
I agree. Young love is a beautiful thing. Unless you've knocked everybody unconscious to get it, which is a bit over the top, but there you go.
Over the top, but when they're forcing you into an arranged marriage.
Ah, I've been there. Anyway, to the place where he said.
Before we go, I must search for one thing in the area.
Oh, I know what you're going to do. You're going to squat, aren't you?
A
Oh, look away,
17
shows-
for searching for a
Yes,
restroom.
sir.
It's been a while.
You find one behind the closest tree.
Good, I need to take a break. One moment, though. We will be
All
right
right.
back.
We're gonna be playing.
I'm a big fan of Stockholm Syndrome, in case you're curious.
Okay, cool.
I will love you at the end of this.
Oh, sweet. All right. So we're coming back, and you are seems like getting the feel that there's a fae, possibly, maybe some sort of witch in the area named something to do with leather, mommy leather pants. And
Ooh.
yes,
This has gone in a different direction altogether.
yes, it has. And so that's kind of where we left off before the break.
And it was deep in the hold? The holler.
The holler, yep. As Hap said. At this moment, you don't really know where that is, I would say.
Well, point us in the direction, old fellow. We shall go find her, and if she indeed is involved, we shall bring her to justice. If she is not, then fair play to her.
Well, I mean, it's might weird for her to get involved, I gotta say, but and I mean, honestly, like, my pap said that he met her. I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, anyway, he always told me that she, like I said, deep in the holler. So basically, what you want to do is just go on, just keep going on north, and it's so, like, he points to the left and then he points to the right. He said, "You see these two mountaintops on each one of them, and if you just keep heading north on that way, in between them, you know, that's so you basically just keep on following it, stay in the middle, sort of like in this valley here, and you just keep going, and apparently she just eventually you'll run into her, but I mean we ain't go that far out."
And what was your pap's name?
Pat?
Are we talking to Pap?
Yes,
Okay.
you are talking to Pat, and he said that his Pap's name is Pat.
Good. That clears it up.
Yep.
So we head that way, and eventually we will be there.
And I reckon, I mean, honestly, I don't even know how long it'll be.
These sounds along the lines of the Fae.
I mean, it's probably about midday right now. Because you would end up getting there. Let's see. Wait, I said I guess in the morning it was about 10, so 12. No, it'd probably be about 1 or 2 right now in the afternoon.
Okay.
Well, all I had was this wedding. Nothing else for the rest of the day. Completely cleared out.
But you are talking about your schedule?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So Pap goes, he's like, normally I'd send one of my boys with you, but we don't mess with anybody. We're not gonna mess with old mother there. So
Tell us, give us a little more information about Mother.
uh
What is going on with her? What is the legend?
well, she's an old witch that lives up in these woods, and some folk, I guess when they're, they go and talk to her if they need something real bad, but she she's tricky. I mean, she's pretty scary too, from what I heard. She can sneak around real easy, and you know, make make deals and trick you. Um, she's got I hear tell that she's got these. They're not really claws, but like they're like these. She wears all these rings and baubles and trinkets all over her hands and wrists, and it just she has a bit of a rattle to her. If she really wants you to know she's out there, sometimes people would say they hear in the woods, they hear the rattle when there shouldn't be one. Um, she's just tricky, and she wanders around.
Well, I say we go pay her a visit and see if she's more forthcoming. Perhaps you fine folks should still continue to scour this area.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Y'all be careful. And
If is our middle name.
oh well, good. So yeah, whenever hurry up on back, and make sure we'll get you some victuals, and you'll take care of you when on your when you stay back, get back here. You can hopefully it doesn't take more than the night. I mean, I reckon I don't imagine it'd be a while, but I don't know. But like whenever y'all come back, we'll take care of you. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Rick, me. And Eric wanders over and crouches down on all fours. And Quill takes the cloak that covers Eric and kind of bunches it up, puts it on sort of back end of Eric, and then sort of lays down and leans into the cloak to use as something as a backrest. Ready, everybody?
We are off.
To adventure. Where are we going again? Which direction? Just point us in the direction.
It is this way, between the
okay.
mountains.
Turn around.
Yes, you're heading the wrong direction. Quill, come this way, over here.
Yes, of course, of course.
Brian, you keep an eye on him.
So does somebody want to give me a survival check to kind of get a feel for what's going on?
I think that should be Isabel.
Probably not.
A general sense of what direction. I mean, you know generally what direction, but to see if you can pick up anything.
Do any of us have wisdom?
The ranger should.
I am a charismatic girl, not a wisdom girl.
Oh no!
Since this is your favorite terrain, I'll give you advantage.
Okay. Oh, benevolent DM James.
Yes. It makes sense.
Hey.
Oh, that's much better.
21.
21. All right. So you you kind of have a feeling that like whenever you're going, there's really no skyline point where like you can make out that there's going to be an end to this like little valley. So whenever he says that deep in this, you know that it actually could be a little way. But the one thing that you can do is you can try to get a little bit higher to get a better viewpoint potentially, especially if you can find like an open ridge or something like that that can give you a better perspective. So if you wanted to take advantage of that sort of knowledge, try to peek a better viewpoint.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I need some higher ground.
So as you guys start moving towards the high ground, you go for maybe like 15, 20 minutes or so, just looking around and going through and it's pretty thick woods, and it's not really maintained very well, just because it's pretty rocky mountains. So these trees are just kind of growing wherever they can. But it goes to show that unless there's concerted effort to go in and clear things out, like what you saw coming in with some of the logging, that they're just gonna let it go as it is. But after a bit, you get to a bit of a clearing. There's a bit of it's almost sort of like a cliff face. You can kind of see. So if you go up and around, you might be able to actually get a better view, because you can see there's a bit of a clearing of trees, or without trees.
Yeah, if there's no opposition, I would probably end up just leading everybody that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, Quill's completely lost interest until something happens. His eyes may be closed. He may be taking a nap.
So as you get up there, I'll say that since Chaucer gave a really good survival roll going up there, there are 2 points that give you that make you interested. You do see a bit of a road at one point, and it looks it looks pretty good. What's that?
Like a road, or like a worn path road.
It's more of like it's actually probably a little bit better than what you came in on. It's not like a paved road or anything like that, but it's like it's a dirt. It's made out of dirt, but it's actually a fairly clear path. There's a delineation in the trees. So there's that, and there's also a decent sized creek. Also not near the road. They're kind of a distance to one another. But you notice those two are like they kind of stand out more than anything else in the area.
A road and a creek.
Yeah.
I guess I would I'd bring that up to the party. Like, we have 2 important items here. One is the obvious road right here, and then the other is a creek. The question being, what would be the most important thing to follow?
Well, let's see. Let's see. Either Arcana. Everybody can roll this. So either Arcana or History. You can choose whichever skill you want to think about potentially what maybe like a witch or a hag, and see if there's any sort of tell on which area you think might, or if there's any, you get any clues or you know anything about them.
I'm not good in either one of those.
I'll roll an Arcana.
Go for it.
21.
All right. Everybody else can roll too.
I'm asleep.
Hey, Quill's out. 13.
I'm getting
History
there.
13 for Chassier. Because he's trying to think.
And 5 for Brian.
Brian's
Okay.
here at least.
Brian's here. I feel like
Yes.
Brian's probably like 2 loot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's easily distracted by everything.
So Chassier knows, like he's heard of them, of these witches, but not a lot. Like he doesn't really know a lot about them. Maybe a story here or there, but nothing that really gives any validity to anything. But Isabel, she knows like she knows enough. They're not going to be around roads. There's just they tend to want to stay away from any sort of population centers or anything that would draw people. So if you had one of the two to determine, you would think that she would more likely be near a creek where there's fresh water, and she would have you know, just for living purposes. So if you had to like find one area to like kind of look around, it probably would be more likely to be next to a creek than it would next to a road.
Yeah, she would pretty much just convey that to, well, not Quill, uh, Chaucer and Brian, that it would make more sense to probably stick to the banks of the creek and look for clues.
Then to the banks we go.
Okay, so you start to descend down the mountain, heading towards the creek, and with the survival that Chaucer gave earlier, like he's got a pretty good bead on where that would be. So you don't get lost or anything like that. You head down that way and you meet up with the creek, and you start investigating around there. You don't at first you don't really notice anything that stands out unless you want to give a more deeper dive.
Jump in the water. No, is is Quill actually asleep?
I mean, it seems like it. Just a nap, you know. I mean, but this is common. I mean, you can try and wake him if you like.
As you all are down by the creek, you hear off in the distance these howls, and they sort of, I mean, you know, it's not like they were completely accurate, but they sort of mimic what those guys that were in the village whenever they were imitating the purple dogs. It sort of sounds like that.
Well, that's interesting. And we
Coming
see
from
the owls.
you No, you don't see them, but you hear them, and they're coming from different directions.
You said just from different directions.
Yeah.
Hmm. And the water. How wide is the creek?
It's about probably about 20, 30 feet wide. Let me give you a... Can't upload it into Roll20, but I will put it in Discord. So it starts to open up a little bit down here. Like there's not as many trees. This creek is running... It's running pretty swiftly. Whenever you get into it for Dossier, it's probably about up to your thighs. But it seems clean.
And you said all we hear so far is just the sound of the owls, similar to the boys at the wedding.
I think we might have lost him.
Oh no. James, if you can hear us, we lost you. Well, while he's reconnecting, what are we thinking? Any thoughts, anybody?
I mean, did the girl go to the witch to ask her to get her out of this?
Possible. But I don't feel like it's like an unprovoked attack. But it could be. I just don't feel like it is.
And the other boys did mention that the boy she was involved with hasn't been seen in a couple days,
Mm-hmm.
which seems suspicious.
All three are missing right now, right?
Hello.
Or is
All three
Junior?
who.
Yeah.
No, Junior
Well,
was just. I thought he was just knocked out behind the
okay.
church, kinda.
Okay.
But the other boy, the love interest,
Area or
Hasn't been.
something.
Yeah, hasn't been seen in a few days. So unless.
Or maybe he went to the witch as well. I mean, either of them could have done.
Yeah, he went to the witch, or either he was out in the woods getting prepared to steal her away and they ran away and something else caught them in the meantime while they were trying to run away. It might have been on purpose, or it might have just been an unfortunate crossing of paths.
Yeah. Gotta say, Brian is very dashing.
Yeah, total golden retriever hero. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
hey,
hello.
hello.
Hi.
Who's this?
Yeah, I know. I'm going in through my phone because now it doesn't want to work on my computer now. Okay.
That's-
We
yeah, where were we at? I was asleep in game.
Yeah. True, you were.
we arrived at the creek. We're
Standing around the creek.
Standing around the creek.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We heard
There
the
were.
owls.
Not doing a whole lot, just standing there.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, hearing howls. Um. Uh.
What kind of owls are they, Rich?
Hang
No.
on.
Oh yeah.
Owls?
I said
Owls or how?
howl.
Oh, it's howls, not owls.
Yes. No, sorry, not owls.
Darn.
Ornithology expert. I was thinking of, like barn owl, but no, barn howl.
There
Yes.
you go. Are they loud?
Wow.
They are. They don't start out loud, but they start to get louder.
Oh, that means they're.
Do they sound more authentic than a bunch of halflings just making howling noises?
Can you make a perception check for me, please?
11.
I mean, they sound like owls. They sound like a legit howls
Go
to
on,
you.
They sound like. Okay. I
What's that?
Nah, it's just another bunch of halflings.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
it's
not
I think it's
nice,
halflings.
I'm gonna go over to Quill and start like nudging him, like, Quill, it is time to wake up. There is
yeah, of course.
of course.
I thought so.
We are in need of your investigatory skills.
And as you suspected, you were correct. Where are we?
We are at the creek.
Oh, it's
there
lovely
is-
here.
Oh, it is quite lovely. But do be careful. There is, as you can tell, an ever approaching howl, not owl. Do not be confused.
Oh, that's. Seems more like something. Shouldn't you be going and investigating it? In your, you could go sneak up and see what's going on. I don't think I should be really going in there.
But aren't you the best sneaker in the group?
I mean,
That
That's
is
very-
just a joke.
very
I have
kind of
kidding
you.
with you. You're no competition for me. But you make a good point.
take Pip with you. Pip. He points to your shoulder. And Pip hovers down. He drops the cake off with Quill and then lands on your shoulder with a slightly icingy beat.
And I'm just like, Pip, you did not save any for me. How dare you?
Disappointingly unreactive.
That was a joke as well. Well then, oh, wait here. I will see what I can find out.
Don't engage.
Of course not. Of course.
As he is about to sneak off, Isabel will just preemptively, just in case, go ahead and cast mage armor on herself.
Ooh.
Okay. How long does that last?
8 hours.
Oh, you're good.
Does she do anything special as she casts that?
Hmm?
Does she do anything special as she casts that?
Well, considering mine is called Armor of Shadows,
Ooh.
I would assume she just touches probably. I'm trying to remember what her arcane focus is. I can't remember if it's her necklace. I think it might be. Probably the necklace at her throat and just like a swirl of black shadows kind of engulfs her. And there's almost like a sheen of like some kind of armory plating, but it's so thin and like veily smoky like you can't really see it unless it's almost like out of the corner of your eye.
Ooh.
Were you going to investigate, Chaucer?
I was going to go see what I could find.
Okay.
In
Before
a
you go,
very
my friend.
stealthy fashion.
Before you go,
So-
my friend, allow me one moment. And he fishes around in a pocket and pulls out a little strip of white cloth, and he waves it above his head. Then he points at it's in the direction of the other three and casts aid, which means your hit point maximum, current hit points, increased by 5.
Temporarily.
We would just put them in temporary hit points, to be honest. But I
Yeah.
think it gets confusing on here. If you're using Roll20, just add
Well-
them into temporary hit points.
Yeah, because you have on Roll20, you have your hit point max. You could just add it onto the bottom number, current hit points.
That's true. Your
Yeah,
hit
that
point,
is.
Technically, your hit point maximum increases as well, so it can be restored. So any confusion.
So like 34 slash. You cast that on all three of us? Was I included in that? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all three of... There is just 3 of you, right? Yes, all 3 of you guys.
You can cast it on me if you want.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I hate when we split the party.
So, as you investigate, can you give me an insight check first?
Yeah. That's an interesting one. 14.
Okay. So, you had to come to the conclusion that these are trying to be purple dog howls, but something in it just isn't quite right. So while that is the intention, you know that these actually aren't. It's like it's an imitation.
Did you want to investigate further?
That was before I even left, or like while I'm slightly away.
So, like, right as you start your investigation, that I wanted you to do the insight. So we as you start to go and as you go into go mode, basically, you're like, that's not right. It's just you don't know anything about these purple dogs really, but you're like, that's not real.
Okay. I still think that I want to try to sneak around and see something.
Okay.
But I want to be stealthy, extra stealthy.
Sure. Well, give me a stealth check then.
That is a 21.
Okay, that's pretty good. So where do you want to sneak around to?
I would like to utilize any form of um because I want to try to like I guess figure out the direction that the sound is coming from
Mm-hmm.
and sort of maybe like find the most covered path to try to identify if there was a source, be it like a physical creature
Mm-hmm.
or
Right.
like if I can extrapolate whether or not it was like an illusory kind of spell or something.
Okay.
I get you. So did you want to be in the water or did you want to be on land?
I would be. I feel like I'm better on land, so on land.
Okay.
Okay. So there's not all as much cover down here as there was in the woods. It actually kind of clears up a bit down here. But you can go from like there are some trees and bushes and rocks along the edge, so you can kind of like skitter along pretty good. And honestly, you feel like you're doing a pretty good job. Like if you feel like maybe if you need to kind of go into the water to take some cover, you can, but you're like mainly staying on dry ground. And you feel like you're doing pretty good with it. So can you give me a actually? I guess go ahead and do me investigation.
Okay. So good at this.
12. Okay.
So you know that this isn't real, and like what you have come to the conclusion is that you don't really know exactly where it's coming from, but it seems like wherever it is, like because in the beginning it was like it was a call and answer is basically what it seemed like, but it's coming from the same source because like it's still going, like there's just like this howling going on, and it's like and you're just, but it's not, it's only coming from one direction, but you can't exactly pinpoint like it's coming, it's almost like sort of an echo but not really.
Is it a pattern? Does it repeat?
It's scattershot a bit. So there's no real like cadence that you can pick up on. But so it's like, there will be a call from one point and then an answer from another and then the call and then the answer. But what it is you can't really tell which one it's coming from, I guess. But it's just like there's something about it. It's just like it's coming from one of those spots. But you just can't. It's just like you choose one. Like basically, it's just like it's either that one or that one. It's just like there's something about this that the way it's bouncing around, it just doesn't seem. There's not two of them. It's just one, whatever it is.
So like a left one, right one? Type like
Yes.
Do I know the direction of these sort of?
Well, basically it would be like there's one basically from the left, and there'd be one that would be ahead, like straight ahead of you.
And where's the creek in relation to these?
So, like, if you look at the map for viewers, it's basically you've got land on the left and then water on the right, and so the one of them would be left, like going up into the hills. And then the other one would be straight, like if you're following the creek.
Let's follow the creek.
Okay. So you're still stealthing down their way?
Yeah.
And everybody else is kind of hanging back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, from the perspective of this, what we'll say is that there's a pretty big rock structure, and everyone is sort of hanging behind that rock structure that's near the creek. But Shelsir is kind of gone on the other side of it, and as you start to skirt the side of this big boulder, and you hear someone go, "All right, there, fella. That's far enough."
Do I see this individual? Or do I just hear it?
You
right
now
you
you just hear.
I'll stop and be like, just kind of saying aloud, "Oh, you have a very keen eye."
Well, I know these parts.
And I am just curious, what are you doing in these parts?
I live here, mister.
You are not the mother Leathercoat, are you?
Some call me that.
What does this voice sound like?
Kind of like a little old lady.
Okay. I am just a visitor, simply on a sort of a quest. I do not mean you any harm, at least not for the moment.
Is that so?
Yes, this is so. You see, there was a situation at... What was the name of that town?
Hollardale.
Hollardale, yeah. There was a situation at Hollardale. A young girl went missing.
Missing, you say?
Missing indeed. It was a tale of true love. A union that was not desired. One could easily connect with such a story. But now she is missing.
Missing. Is that why you're out this way?
It has a great deals with why we are here. And there was your name came up into the equation. We are me and my friend here. He points to the one on his shoulder. We are searching for a possible answer. Do you know anything of this girl?
I know quite a few youngins. What was the name of this girl?
Forgive me, I don't think I wrote that down.
Jenny.
Jenny. Yeah. I knew the whole time. Her name was Jenny.
Jenny, you say?
She was betrothed to a junior, but her heart belonged to a... Help. What's his name?
Did we get it? I don't know. Did we
I
get
thought-
it?
Pap said his name
Uh,
once.
Gomer.
Gomer.
A young man named Gomer.
Pretty common names up in these parts.
Not as common as Pep.
Common too, yeah. So you're looking for him, huh?
That we are. The thistle bugs.
So what do you think I have to do with that?
Oh, I do not know. I am mostly inquiring. There was talk of a certain Mother Leathercoat that she might know, perhaps, what it could be.
So
Well, there was suspicion around you.
folks around these parts don't really trust me.
Oh, you have a bit of lore and mystery around you.
Well, I like to keep it that way.
Oh, it is good to be mysterious.
So are you looking for some help?
I mean, if you are willing to provide, I would not say no.
I could be persuaded. What's in it for me?
That is a good question. What is in it for you?
Well, what would you like to provide?
I'm curious. Well, if you could present the girl, that would be great.
Can't write presenter because I don't have her.
But it sounds as if you know where to find her.
Mayhaps. As I will say, as you are hearing her talk, you do notice that like her voice is like moving around you, but you don't see her.
That's creepy. And Shasir, as he's talking, he's kind of like, his eyes are like looking left and looking right. He's got like a slight little smile on his face, but if he still can't ever see her, I mean, he'll definitely acknowledge that. You are quite a unique form of invisible.
Is it now?
Oh, but I have quite a keen eye, and yet you are elusive, and I am quite a hunter. Not necessarily in a hostile sense.
Would it make you feel more comfortable if I were to show myself?
A bit of comfort would definitely come over me.
She appears to you like at your 10 o'clock.
Like close to me?
Probably about 20 feet away from you.
Okay.
Not like right next to you. She's a halfling. She looks like a really old halfling. Sort of like a little old maid. She's got a little bit of a stoop. She get bent over a little bit. Little raggedy, but not too bad. Like, it's just like wearing a dress with kind of like a cord at the waist that's tied up. She's got a couple of like little pouches at her sides.
Okay. Ah, there you are.
Been here a long time.
What are you doing out here?
Oh, this is my home.
So you are just living?
Just living.
Knowing this so I got Pip on my shoulder. Does Pip have any kind of connection with you, Quill?
No, he's no help at all.
He's no help at all. Okay.
He just went along for the ride.
Oh gosh.
I mean, he's watching there.
He's watching. Does he understand basic commands? Can he communicate with you? Like, in a sense that, like, if we've known you long enough, I'm trying to figure out if there's, like, if he is just like my shoulder weight.
Yeah.
I can't tell him, like, go tell Quill, we found something. Not like a familiar, is he?
It will obey commands, but it can't sort of communicate.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
And it would probably obey your command as well.
I will whisper to Pip on my shoulder. It says, just if something happens, go find Quill. And try to keep that just low, and then re-engage with Leathercoat. Do you have a name, or is it Mother Leathercoat?
You can just call me Mother Leathercoat. You can just call me Mother.
Perhaps I will call you Mother. Mother, I am Chaussier. And he does like a little twirly hand wave bow.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I am mainly focused on my curiosity. The Jenny is missing. You seem to have a bit of knowledge as to where she may be. But the question is, what is in it for you? This can be any sort of thing. Is there anything that you desire?
Favors. Secrets. Prized possessions.
And these are a currency for you?
Well, I'm pretty self-sufficient, and whenever you've been out here as long as I have, sometimes it does work as currency.
What sort of favor would you prefer?
Could you take care of a pest that I have?
This is possible.
Well, if you could do that for me, then perhaps I could tell you where the girl's at.
And what sort of pest are you talking about?
She pauses, waits for a bit. This is a very ornery pest, and one that I can't quite take care of myself. Might be one of these hill folk that live around here.
He puts his hands up, kind of like, now what by take care of? There are certain boundaries.
Well, I've given you my terms. You help me out here. Tell you where the girl's at.
I feel a sense of trust,
Uh,
or like,
give me. That's a good question, sir. What are you gonna do here?
feeling nervous about this.
Give me perception, and I will.
I'll take perception.
23.
23.
Dang.
Oh my. Okay. She rolled a 5 on deception. No, you don't trust her at all. Like, it's giving you heebie-jeebie vibes.
Okay, how far did I move from the group?
You're probably at this point, say, you're probably about 120 feet away from them, but you're on the other side of like the boulder, so like they can't really see you. And based upon things, I mean, you don't know this right now, but I will say to the group, yeah, like you couldn't hear their conversation.
And can I see at all, like where I left the group? Was there any kind of like, because I'm assuming I cannot see them. But like, is there any kind of like landmark over near them?
That was near them.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, because I'm going off of the map that we have, so you know, so you can visualize it. There's a tree basically that's where they left off. So if you look at the bottom right hand corner, the group is down by the tree, and
Right.
then so
How
you'd
long
be
has
on
he
the
been-
other side.
How
Tree.
long has he been gone, and is the howling continuing?
From your perspective, the howling stopped.
Okay.
Not too long after he went. Well, I mean, he kind of disappeared, but like it wasn't too terribly long after he like went off that the howling stopped.
Has he been gone a few minutes now?
It's been a few minutes.
Isabel, do you think you should check in with him? Just make sure he's. It's gone awful quiet.
I suppose. And she'll. Ooh, I guess. 'Cause I'm thinking how message works. I have to I kind of know the general direction he went off. So yeah, she'll just point down the creek bank, and cast message in the general direction that she thinks Chaucier has gone down, and just say to him, Everything okay?
Big question: do I hear it?
It is 120-foot range, and it can be cast through solid objects.
I mean, I said 120 feet, so you're in range.
Make sure.
And it does say it can travel freely
Yeah, there you go.
I'll
So
say.
around
I
corners
stepped
or
5
through
foot back
openings.
towards
Yeah.
Isabel.
Isabel, do not take a step backwards.
No.
Whatever you do.
She
I mean,
takes
I
2
can't.
steps backwards and
Yeah,
No.
I can't say it doesn't reach because that was like the exact thing I quoted. So
How much can I say?
I don't think there's a
As much as you can fit in 6 seconds, I guess.
In 6 seconds.
yeah, because it's an
This-
action.
this one isn't the 25 words. I don't
Yeah,
think.
no,
Right.
it's a
No.
free whisper.
Yeah.
Here's a message that and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. So that only I would hear it in my head, basically.
In the middle of conversing with Mother Leathercoat, he hears this in his head, and he, knowing how message works, he responds back. I love your whisper in my ear.
Oh my
That's what he responds back with. That's great. And then he then she attacks him and he dies. So that's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
he's
always
fine.
loved you. Goodbye, Isabel.
He seems fine. We'll just leave him.
Yeah, right. Let's just go home.
That's good. That's good.
But
Amazing.
Is that really what you reply back?
He does say that, but also,
Okay.
I love your whisper in my ear. But I have encountered her and feel uneasy. I don't know how much more in 6 seconds he would be able to fit into that.
Yeah, that's about right. Feels like.
Yeah, that's good.
And technically, it just says the casting time is an action. Doesn't say anything
true.
about how long the speech or reply is.
I felt nothing. I mean, I felt nothing like that was unsporting. So
Yeah,
Breaking
it's
any,
it's a little more, OP than sending for a cantrip.
just the 120-foot range.
Yeah.
Yeah, because could they theoretically just have a whispering conversation? Can one person whisper rant? For
Pretty much, I guess. But I mean, you can always reply back because that's the thing
Yeah.
is when you cast it, they can always reply back.
yeah,
So
I
you
feel
can't
like
just rant with no reply.
I feel like the thing is with like in this case, for Isabel, if she wanted to respond back, she would probably have to cast it again.
Yeah.
That would be the limitation. Is that just going like pinging back and forth? So I would
Lots
say
of random pointing at.
Yeah. I would say you get the feel based off of that he's not, he doesn't feel good about the situation. He's met her, and there's a bit of an uh-oh.
Oh, it sounds like he could maybe use some backup. He says he's met the Witch of the Woods.
Off you go, Brian.
Oh,
I'm so done with that.
Brian's not excited and starts headed that
In the
way.
wrong direction.
In the wrong direction.
Yeah, wherever
Sweet.
they sent him to.
See
to
me a
check on
witch, and he
Trissa.
walks out into the water. So what are you doing now, Chaucer? I feel like I say your name different every single time.
Chaucer is Chaucer.
Yeah.
Saucer.
I like saucer.
Yeah, we're going with Saucer. Sorry.
He's a kitty cat.
Yeah, exactly.
he's trying to kill time, questioning and because he feels uneasy, but he also he knows this is part of well, he feels like this is part of the solution, possibly.
Gotcha.
But he never wants to be threatening. He is trying to just get more questions out, and maybe distract a little bit.
Do you think we should head up Isabel or get a little rest? What do you think?
He sounds uncomfortable.
It's unusual for him, so perhaps we should get a little closer. Eric, to me. And Eric just sort of, he kind of jumps off him, and Eric kind of goes into a vertical form.
Can you give me a deception roll, Chaucer?
Most certainly can. And it will not be. Oh no, it might be kind of okay. Hold your breath.
Oh wow!
Oh!
Nice.
24.
Okay. So she's playing along with it. So she's just like, so I have given my terms. I'm losing my accent with her, a little creepy old lady accent. So it's your choice.
I mean, I have to know the name of this individual. You just told me someone is bothering you.
Okay. You want the name? I can give you a name. His name is Hillpot.
Hillpot. And what problems has he been giving you?
He promised me a gift. And now he wants to take it back.
What sort of gift?
A precious gift.
Has he given you this gift already?
Well, that was the thing. Whenever I asked for it, even though he promised it, he said no.
And you want to get rid of him, or would you prefer the gift? I could maybe get it for you.
You'd want to go get it for me?
Is there a possibility? It is more important than getting rid of Monsieur Hillpot?
So, the way things are right now, though, to get it for me, you would need to get rid of him.
You are very intent on getting rid of him.
It seems to be one of the few solutions I have right now.
Whilst killing time, am also, if I can just prep an action,
Sure.
mostly that if I notice any of the party see me.
Is the rest of the? Oh yeah, continue yet. I want to know what you're doing. I'm sorry.
I basically want to try to if I notice them, I want to prepare a sprinting pounce action to try to subdue this individual to begin with.
Okay.
But I would feel much more comfortable about that with group in tow.
Right. What is the rest of the group approaching?
so.
If
In
I
some
would
way.
say yes and cautiously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stealthily, you could say.
Perhaps.
Stealthily. Okay. Everybody, give me a stealth, please.
I have to add real quick. I get an extra D4.
Wait,
All
what?
right.
I'll roll that real quick.
Did something happen to my?
If I can navigate off the page.
That's not right.
Do you have a
What
bonus to your
happened?
stealth?
Oh yeah, it's big.
Okay.
Oh, Brian's stealthy boy.
8,
Okay, I have a 15 total.
be.
Oh, nice.
I
don't
have
know
a
what
10
happened to my
total.
stealth. This doesn't make sense. Let me. All right, so my dex modifier's 3, and I have proficiency in it.
Should be +6.
Yeah, so it should be a +6.
So
So
you're
I guess my stealth roll should be 11.
okay. Okay.
I don't know what happened to my character sheet.
So just so you know, so if you guys are going up and this conversation going back and forth between the two, and Chaucer readying his action, you come around the this giant boulder and you show up and it startles her. Like she didn't know you were coming at all. I rolled a 1 on her perception. So like you snuck up on her and she was just like, I knew your friends were here, but maybe they'll like it kind of it snaps her out of it because like she was paying so much attention to Saucer, that yeah, so she was just like, oh well, she's like, well, maybe your friends will see some sense and want to help me out here.
What does she look like a person, or is there something a bit otherworldly about her?
um okay, let's see. It's a good question. Let me check real quick. Can you give me uh investigation?
11.
She's a halfling. She's what I described earlier. She looks, old, um, old maid halfling, stooped over.
I guess Quill will just turn to Chasseur and say, "What does this lady told us? Has she seen the our quarry?"
She seems to know exactly where she might be, but she is looking for a favor before such information is granted.
Well, that's not for her to say. We are on official business here, madam. Please hand over your information, or it will be seen as an obstruction of justice.
Justice, you say? And justice is a little peculiar out this way.
Peculiar is our middle name. Now tell us, and we will stop bothering you.
I've laid my terms out to your friend. You help me out, get rid of a pest of mine, and I'll tell you what you need to know.
There's no time for such things. There are people scouring the dales, looking for this poor young person. We need to know if they're safe, and if so, where are they? Have no time for favors.
Well, if that's the case, then I think our business is done. And she
Hold
just kind
on
of she stands there first and just looks at y'all.
Hold on 1 minute, ma'am. I do believe my companions are a little more strict, perhaps, than some of us. What kind of deal are we exactly talking about?
She sighs. We. I was promised a precious gift. And whenever I went to collect on this precious gift, I was told no. So what I want you to do is to rid me of the individual who is changing their mind and going back on the terms of our agreement.
Well, I do agree that that is terribly rude of someone to go back on their arrangement, but what gift is it that they didn't give?
Treasure. What was to be my treasure?
What sort of treasure are we talking here? Are we talking more monetary or are we talking more metaphysical?
I guess you could say I suppose metaphysical.
Soul, heart, firstborn.
Bride. She starts to get a little. You can tell that she's starting to get tired of all the questions.
So, you're telling me that the gift that you were promised is the bride that we're asking you to help us find?
Odd how that is, isn't it?
She'll just kind of look back at her other party mates with a quirked brow.
I'm confused. Who promised you this gift that was seemingly not theirs to give?
That's the irony in this. Because in his opinion, it was his to give.
Is he
I
her
mean, if you
father?
She gives one big sigh and she says, "Enough of this." And she snaps her fingers and disappears.
Well,
don't have anything to stop that. Hang on, I might have a thing.
I
I immediately seeing her disappear, just in case. Quill will cast out fairy fire across the area where she was.
Okay.
Ooh.
Can you throw that one out?
Or would
on
you
the,
like it? Yeah, sorry.
Please. No, you're okay.
It just says, "Show yourself," and a jet of, you know,
Right. DC
what color
14
would it be?
Dex.
It would be a sort of pastel blue.
Okay. She fails. Okay. Um. So.
So we
let me
so we see
wait.
her outline.
Yeah, I would say you would see with this.
Says,
Yeah, I would say
aha.
you.
You
Does
are
this do any?
brilliant.
Quick.
Does this do any? This one. Does this do any damage or is just?
No, it's
no, okay.
purely
Okay.
she sheds light in a 10-foot radius.
Okay.
Dim light in a 10-foot radius.
All right. Yeah. So you see her outline. Because I don't think this would throw off the invisibility that she cast.
As she becomes visible, he says, "Do not move, or you will be fired upon and seen as an obstruction to this investigation."
All right. I think it's time for initiative.
Oh boy. Sounds like a
Understood.
cliffhanger ending.
Doesn't it? Yeah, so we'll leave it at that tonight. We have the initiative order of Chassier, Isabel, Quill, Brian, and Mother Leathercoat is somewhere in there. We'll find that out next time.
This just feels like Isabel wandering around for a bunch of lunatics in the country. I feel like she's going to be constantly face palming.
To be fair, that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah, like
based on just her general character, anyway.
The more like it's sort of like I'm like, she's an interesting foil for the party.
Yeah.
I would like to retroactively mention that Isabel did wash out her vials of blood in the creek when she realized mentally that Brian healed the halfling and he didn't die, so they are useless to her.
Oh my gosh.
What a waste.
Oh my, wow. I'm getting great himbo vibes from Brian.
Oh yeah. 1000%.
Yeah.
Like Brendan Fraser, George of the Jungle.
Yes.
Peak himbo.
I mean, I'm just going to picture Brendan Fraser from now on. So, man, what a party!
It's fantastic. We have an actual bimbo and a himbo in the same party.
Yeah.
Great.